I love cooking for my family. I love making meals that we can all enjoy, but sometimes it can be overwhelming to try and manage all of the moving parts behind the scenes, from the grocery budget to keeping a stocked kitchen to knowing what to make on a day-to-day. This really used to stress me out and overwhelm me. I have been developing a system that will help me minimize a lot of the stress. It is simple, it is easy to follow, so let's dive right into this video. It is Friday. My husband just finished up work and we are about to run out the house for a quick, not at all quick actually, for a pretty big grocery shop, I think. We'll see. I'm just hoping that we're not too late because I do want to go to a couple of shops. I do prefer to go with everyone, my husband and my kids, because I guess we're all just codependent. Just grocery shop together. Usually we do like one big monthly shop and we do it together because we just like doing it together. It's just like a fun thing that we do. So we're about to head out the door. Hopefully I am not too late. Let's go. Before you even reach this point, before you find yourself driving into a parking lot, heading into a store to pick up a bunch of random things you didn't even plan for. Okay, let me take you guys back to yesterday where I'm going to show you guys how I put together my grocery list before I actually go shopping. So let me take you guys through a little bit of the thought process behind my planning, how I put together my grocery lists. For me, it is important that as I'm shopping, I'm also being mindful of how much I'm spending. I would find myself shopping and just feeling like when it actually came time to plan my meals that I had nothing. I would buy a whole bunch of stuff. I would come back home and then it's like, okay, let's go into the week. Let's make food. Let's cook our meals. And I'd just feel like, why do I not have anything to cook? So making sure that first and foremost, I have what is essential for my family to build meals that we enjoy and we eat on a frequent basis is really important. I don't like grocery shopping. I do not like grocery shopping. Like, I feel like I can shop for anything else in the world. Grocery shopping, I find it so boring. When I can get the bulk of it done up front, and I know when I'm going back it's just for restocking, it's just for little things that we need here and there, I am happy. So I actually have like a Notion page where I do all of this planning. You don't need to create a whole Notion page in order to follow the system. You can do pen and paper. When I started off, I did start off with pen and paper, and once I figured out something that worked, that's when I decided to implement it in a Notion page for me. I like to start off by just checking what we have. So that's so important because I don't like like going shopping, putting stuff in my cupboard, and then like halfway through the month looking at the back of my cupboard and seeing that I've got like 15, okay, not 15, but like 3 more packets of pasta that I didn't even know I had. It creates mental clutter for me. So I like to go through my cupboard, my fridge, everywhere where I stock food, and I try to see what do I have to work with going into this next month. It does help me manage the mental clutter that's going on in my brain when I have an idea of what is happening within my kitchen. I like buying what I buy, knowing I'm going to use it, and kind of just going through every step with intention. And then from there, writing down the things that I think we'll need for the upcoming month. Obviously, this takes experience. I didn't just figure this out overnight. It took me 2 years to kind of understand, okay, this is what we like to eat. This is what's good for us. And also it changes. Like, I go through seasons where I cook the same thing over and over again because it's easy. I just entered motherhood, and with all of that, I was just not trying to be creative in the kitchen. So I just ended up being repetitive, but I am going into a space now where I want to get creative, get a little fun, but that's a story for another day. So I like to write down everything I think we'll need for the upcoming month to restock on. And this is groceries as well as like household, like your cleaning supplies, as well as toiletries. I like to do all of that once as well. So whatever toiletries my baby will need, I will need, or my husband will need. So once I have it down, I go ahead and put everything in their categories, and the categories I use, I'll also go ahead and list them here. I do list out everything underneath these specific topics. These are the foundations of all of the cooking I do in the kitchen. As long as I'm stocked up on all the essentials that fall under this, I have a happy kitchen. I have a stress-free time within the kitchen as well. Just make sure you have the essentials to make good home cooked meals stocked in your kitchen, because that will make cooking a lot less overwhelming. When I put down what I will need for the month, I also try and estimate the quantity. For example, if I say I need oats, maybe we'll need a 2 kg bag of oats. So I'll put down the quantity to take us from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. As I'm putting it down, I'm also estimating the amount, because this will help me come up with a budget for each food group, so that I know, okay, within a month I have enough proteins to last the whole month, or I have enough grains to last the whole month, and I have enough fruits and veg to last the whole month. Fruits and veg for me includes frozen as well as fresh. The reason why I like to do it like this is because, first of all, I don't like assigning numbers, like a price to each item. Okay, pause. I actually have started assigning prices to each line number on my Notion page. It does create more accuracy moving forward, but this is not at all necessary. You can obviously just have like a broad budget for a group of different items, because that's just a lot. If you're like buying 50 things, how long are you going to take to assign? You can do that over time. I'll estimate how much I want to spend on proteins for the month, how much I'll need to spend on grains. When I put down the amount, right? So for proteins, I'll estimate a budget. Okay, based on the quantities, this is how much it can cost me. Fruits and veg, based on the quantities, this is how much it can cost me. And I also include the fruits and veg amount I'll be restocking. So maybe I won't buy all of my fresh produce at the beginning of the month, because obviously it won't be there, won't be fresh by the end of the month, but I'll still estimate how much I want to spend on fruits and veg for the duration of the month. So I'll just go ahead and estimate the total cost for the whole month, even if I won't buy it upfront. On my Notion templates, I do have a column for restocking, so I take note of the items that I'll need to restock, and that just also helps me know that, okay, I need to save money in my budget for these items later on in the month, so I don't end up thinking I've got all this money when in fact it's actually money that's been allocated for things I need to restock on later in my month. Once I've got my categories, I've got my quantities, and I also have like an assigned budget for each group, then I am now ready to go into the store and to start shopping. And that's how I come up with my grocery list. That's how I come up with my budget in a way in which is not too constricting, because obviously you can go into the store and find sales, or you want to try like a different flavor of something. If you put a specific amount for a line item, it can start to feel a bit constricting. I feel like it manages being in a budget while also maintaining a level of being flexible. If you guys want a step-by-step guide on how I go about doing this whole system from beginning to end, there's a link down below. You can just click on it and I will email you. It includes the steps. It also includes like a master grocery list, which lists out what I think are the essentials for cooking, or what I think most people need for cooking good home cooked meals. It's very simple. It's very straightforward, just to get you started. You don't have to do it exactly like how I'm doing it, but I do think that sometimes when you have at least a starting point, it can help you develop your own system. Sometimes you just don't know where to start, and that's what's holding you back. So without further ado, let us pick up where we left off and let's get to grocery shopping. So we're finally back home now. Baby is down for bed, down for the night, and now I need to unpack everything. Before I unpack everything, I'm actually going to first throw together a quick dinner. I'm already tired, so I don't want to spend too much time cooking. So I got a sourdough loaf right here. These sourdough loaves were going for 30 bucks a loaf. So I was really happy with that. Got a ton of bananas, like literally, I think I got like, I don't know, almost 2 kilos. and they were on special. They were going for 3 for 49 rand. Yeah, once they ripen, which they should be ripe in the next coming week, I will freeze all of them up, and then I will just be able to pull them out. I think one bag of this. So I'll peel them, slice them, freeze them. One bag of this will probably be able to make me 2 to 3 banana loaves, maybe two if you want a very strong banana flavor. But I'm going to let them ripen on the counter. Once they're ripe, peel, chop, and freeze, and I'm going to pull them out and make banana loaf as the month goes on. I think I have enough for so many loaves. I also got these. These are raisins, mixed jumbo raisins, two for, I think, was 70 bucks. And I love these for making granola at home. I think I also bought mixed nuts. So my granola is going to have some raisins, some mixed nuts in there. I've literally been looking for this. Like, this is the only soy sauce that I really like. It's a dark soy sauce. Then I got a kilo of garlic. What else is in here? I got some pears because they're on special. Usually I get apples, but I got pears this time. They're on special. Sweet potato. My baby loves sweet potato. More apples, tomato paste, oil, pineapples, eggs again on special. On this side, I got a ton of meat. I got a ton of pork. Like, pork was on special as well. So I love buying meat on special because then I can just cut it up and then freeze it. So then I freeze them in like little freezer bags. There's like pork, there's some steak down there, and then I've got some ground beef down there, as well as some canned tomatoes because I don't like chopping up tomatoes. Some carrots. So these actually came with 7 kgs of onions and 7 kgs of potatoes, and then some butternut. So it was a really nice combo deal. Some milk. So yeah, just the usual stuff. Now that my kitchen is stocked for the most part, let's talk about the actual making of meals. As I go into each week, I start out by looking at what I have, and I try to prioritize using up any perishable items or anything that needs to be used up first. I try to keep my meal plan flexible. So how I will build each meal for each day is I will pick a protein, and I will then decide what veggies and what carbs I want to have with that protein. This weekly meal plan is quite loose. It's not super fixed because I like to leave room for the possibility of leftovers, for the possibility that we may not eat the meal on that specific day. And the meal plan is not necessarily so that I can cook everything at once. It's just so that as I go into each day, I have an idea of what I'm going to be making for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. There are so many ways, so many approaches to actually meal planning. This is just what works for me right now at this stage in my life, but I definitely think experiment with different types, different systems, and figure out what works for you. This dinner was nothing special. I just threw it together. I was so tired. I also kind of burnt it a little bit, but it was still good. So yeah. It's worth noting that as far as the planning goes, it is mostly around the dinner meals, because for breakfast I do have more or less the same things. For the middle of the day, it's typically something quick like sandwiches or like a cereal, so it doesn't require as much cooking. I do find the challenge around cooking is more so around dinner. Dinner does feel like the main meal of the day for us, so that's why I do spend a bit more time trying to put more effort and thought into it. Good morning, it's the next morning and I need to make a Checkers 60/60 order like right now because there's no coffee beans. We get our coffee from Checkers. I also get all of like my dairy from Checkers, so I do want to make like a quick order like now because I need my coffee and I just want to get it out of the way. I also have a bunch of freezer bags that I'm getting from Checkers so that I can pack the meat that is in the fridge into the freezer, because I'm going to put it into individual bags so it's easy like to pull out like whenever I need to like cook for that day or whatever. And I need to freeze it today because I like to freeze it like as close to the day as possible so it's as fresh as possible when it is going into my freezer. Hopefully the 60/60 order comes within 60 minutes. I do need to keep track of what's happening within my kitchen. When I do that weekly meal plan, I try and see if there's anything I need to stock up again. I'll go ahead and get it. Anything fresh usually, or like bread, or maybe I forgot to get something, or maybe something ran out quickly. This is why it's also important to create a lot of buffer within your budget and not keep everything too strict, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're consistently going over budget because of poor planning. Some other tips that have helped me in the kitchen is cooking in bulk when it makes sense. I like to do this because I don't like to spend time cooking fixed meals and then now I feel tied to a specific plan as the week goes on. I do like cooking specific ingredients in bulk. For example, if I know that I'm roasting veggies, maybe I'll roast a little bit extra for the next couple of days, and that's how I'll save time. Have a few no cook or easy to cook meals on hand. For me, if you know me, if you follow me on Instagram, it is burgers. When I do not want to cook, I am making burgers. That's my go-to no cook or lazy to cook meal, because for me it is quick and I don't always feel like cooking, and I think this might be a universal experience. Sometimes the day is heavier, busier, more tiring than you anticipated. So having meals that are go-to, that you know that this is a meal I can make with my eyes closed, is definitely super helpful, and it does minimize the amount of takeouts, the amount of eating out you do, because you do have a lot of low effort options within your kitchen. I have a few more tips for you within my guide, so please grab that if you are interested. Remember that no system is perfect. As long as you are finding ways to make home cooking more of a joy and less of a burden, I honestly think that you are winning. So remember to give yourself so much grace. Next week, I'll be showing you guys a day of cooking for my family, so if you do want to see that, please remember to subscribe. Bye!